Hello, and this is Rizik from the Ragnarok server on Final Fantasy 11. This is going to be my first Let's Play video, and basically this is going to be Let's Play Dynamis. With the Dynamis videos, I'm going to split it into three parts. Part 1 will be this little introduction and going over the basics of Dynamis. It's basically explaining the event itself, what areas to go to, time extensions, the proc system, time changes and the good jobs, and then I think I'll go off a little bit and explain a little bit about Beast, the job I play it on, and what is considered the best, well, the best and the easiest job to solo in Dynamis. So for this first segment I'm going to be covering a little bit the basics. So if you know what Dynamis is, you know how to get time sessions, you know how to kill stuff, just move on to the next video. Maybe if you want to move on and look at a little bit about Beast, I mean, I'm going to cover a bit the basics, how to do a lot of damage. Maybe it'll, it's not going to be like go and tell you to go do New Isle to get like the new best gear. It's going to give you the tips how to really increase Ruinator. Anyway, I'll leave that till later. Anyway, now with Dynamis itself, it's a 2-hour event. You start off with 60 minutes, and you have to get 5 time extensions to extend it by an hour. There are a lot of different areas. There's Dynamis Bastalk, Dynamis Sandy, Dynamis Windy, Dynamis Juno, Dynamis Busel and Gacia, probably said that wrong, Dynamis Exavard, and then there's a COP, which is Dynamis Bubu, Dynamis Quanfim, and Dynamis Valk, and Dynamis Tav. Myself, I stick to Dynamis Bubu and Dynamis Quanfim. I've heard people do pretty well in the Glacier and pretty well in Exavard as well. Some people do pretty well in Valkyrum, and some do pretty well in Tav, but myself, personal experience, I do really well in Bubu and Quanfim. I've tried the other zones. They're harder mobs. It's kind of just a harder zone in general, and you get the same amount of coins no matter how hard your mob is. So just do what you want. I would recommend, if you're going to start off anywhere, start down with Quanfim. The time extensions are a lot easier there. If after that, once you got that down, try out Dynamis Bubu, learn time extensions, get the basics of it, and then between those two zones you can search the zones and see who's the most people are in them, and then go to them. Or if you have a preference, just keep going to the same zone over and over again and become like a master of that zone. Anyway, that's the areas covered. Next I want to cover the time extensions. Like I said, you enter with 1 hour, and it's possible to get another 60 minutes via time extensions. That's not the only benefit of the time extensions. The time extensions also increase the procs. If you have no time extensions, you can't proc, and therefore you will make a lot less money. I mean, I'll explain a little bit more of that in the proc system, but you need to get the time extensions. Don't go in there going, oh, I'm just going to farm for an hour and leave. You're going to lose more money than gain stuff. I've had friends that have gone in there and gone an hour and gone, I'm going to make like 20 coins. Like, do you get time extensions? And no. I won't say who it was, but I did some pretty daft things when I first did Dynamis. I mean, I was using a Behemoth Zag on my Beast to proc weapon skills. I didn't have much competition, but I was only pulling in like 70 coins. I mean, it was terrible. I now pull in about 200 odd. But anyway, it's all about trial and error. I mean, if you want to try out a different way of doing it, have a go. I mean, but I'm just gonna go with the basics. If you agree with it, try it out. Don't like it, try something else. Anyway, so with the time extensions, there's 4 10-minute time extensions and 1 20-minute time extension. The 20-minute time extension moves all over the place, so being able to wide scan on Beast is pretty helpful. Outside that, if you haven't got wide scan, load up the Dynamis maps from BG Wiki, and they'll tell you where all the spawns are, so you can methodically go around. The only issue with that is if somebody kills it as you go around, it could pop to somewhere you got before, so you might have to make 1 or 2 circuits. I've known of people having to do like 5 circuits before they get it, just because maybe they missed it the first scan, or maybe they missed it, after that. With Beast, you obviously get wide scans, so you can lock onto that and then just go into it. If it disappears off your wide scan as you go into it, somebody's just killed it. You wait like 5 minutes, do another wide scan, and then you can just go straight to it. That's kind of a benefit, and I'd recommend if you haven't got a job already level Beast for Dynamis. I mean, it's definitely worth it. Right, outside of the 20-minute one, there's 4 10-minute time extensions. They always pop in the same area, so if they're not up, if somebody's just killed it, just wait for literally it takes like a minute for it to repop. and once it's repopped, you're pretty much there. I mean, just go kill it, that's fine. For my beast, I'll explain a little bit more later, but I use sheep to kill them because they're cheap and they're expendable. Anyway, that'll be at the end of the video. So outside that, that's the time extensions covered. Now with the procs. In Dynamis, the mobs are weak to a certain type of attack. There are 3 types. The first type is magic. Magic is very, very bad to be farming Dynamis. The only time I would see people staggering magic is if you're in a group of like 4 or 5 and you're not really farming for money. You're probably off there to do the MMs, but you know, you'll come up to a magic proc mob or, you know, beastman, and you know, the white mage just spam dire and proc it. But outside of that, don't even make that part of your strategy, to be honest, because you will lose money because the proc rate is so low on it. Then there's weapon skill staggers. Now that's the second best. Personally, I don't touch it anymore. I did try it, like I said, with Beast, with Behemoth Zag ages ago, so I have a general understanding behind it. It's about a 25% proc rate. It's similar to the job ability procs in the rate. The only issue is with job ability proc, you only need like 10 TP. With a weapon skill proc, you need 100. So you can probably see how it does work. There are people who do play Paladin and Pup, who use AoE weapon skills and hit a load of mobs at once. I believe like the way the system works is after the first proc, it's a very low chance you'll get a second one. So you get like a load of chances at once when you do like an AoE weapon skill. That's a general Puppet Master and Paladin. The only real benefit I see to that is if when Dynamis is really packed, you know, there's 20 people in the zone, you will generally have a camp to yourself because everybody goes to the job abilities. That's the only benefit I see in that. And then there's the third type, which is job ability procs, which is what everybody goes for. What that means is if you use job ability on a mob, can't be a job ability on yourself, has to be on the mob, so the mob has to be the target of it. So most people will have a dancer sub because that's or they play dancer because that's the job that can put out basically 3 or 4 job abilities in a minute. Probably more than that. Anyway, I'll just say as I'm on sub dancer anyway, I'll go over a little bit. Steps, every 15 seconds you'll get a step, and that will have a chance to proc a mob. So that's every 15 seconds you get a chance to proc about 25%. Then every 30 seconds you're able to use Violent Flourish, which is about a 20-second recast. I know this is a little bit longer than steps, and Animated Flourish is a great claiming tool. It is a 30-second recast, so it does slow down your proc rate, but when you're competing with people, you know, that's what you want to go for. Outside of that, then there's the mobs that are weak to it. My main focus is on beast type mobs. That's what you want to focus on, in my opinion. I mean, if you want to try out beastmen, I would recommend doing that more as a group. It's more like if you've got 2 or 3 people and you want to do beastmen instead of the beasts, just because they're overcamped or such and such. Then they're based on the job of the beastman. To find out what the jobs are, most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Like there's an orcish bow shooter, that's obviously a ranger. So anyway, so basically it's based on the job. The weapon skill procs on the night jobs, which are, let me just bring up my job list so I don't forget any. The night jobs, which are warrior, paladin, dark, dragoon, and samurai. Those are the 5 weapon skill jobs. So any of those jobs you find in Dynamis, for beastmen, they're the weapon skill procs. For magic, it's the mages, white mage, black mage, what else? They're bard and summoner. They're the magic procs, and then everything else is job ability procs. Monk, thief, ranger, ninja, and yeah, monk, thief, ranger, ninja. There's one more I'm missing there, but I always miss it every time. I've done this video a couple of times and I keep forgetting what the last one was. Beastmaster, of course. Yeah, there we go. So that's a beastman, but generally you don't go for beastmen. You generally go for the beast type mobs, which their weakness will change every 20 minutes. Basically, from 0 to 8, there are one weakness. Then 8 to 16, they're a different weakness, and then 16 to 0, they're the third weakness. And they go through, I believe it's job ability, weapon skill, magic on all of them, but there's different mobs in the areas. So there's always a set of mobs which are job abilities, and there's always a set of mobs that have weapon skills. So you'll be, every 20 minutes, you'll run to the next camp and start camping you know, those are the mobs. For example, I'll go through the example for Quantum. If you want to know more about which mobs are which, the best thing to do is go to the BG Wiki, bring up one of their maps. They usually have like a little description at the back of the mob. In general, when you first do Dynamis, bring that map up. If you've got a second screen, chuck it on a second screen. If you can window Final Fantasy, which is what I do, put it on the side there, just until you get it down. I mean, I don't use a map anymore. I've worked everything out, but honestly, it helps so much. But the mobs in Quantum, which is what I'm going to do today, the Bindmill mobs from 0 to 8 are bats, triple bats, in fact, krakens and rocks. Nobody really does the rocks, there's only 3 of them, so ignore them. The krakens are tougher than the triple bats, but less camps because they're a little bit tougher. When you first start, you might want to just start on the bats, because the krakens have a tendency to do a lot of AoEs and link together, and you know, I've died to them from them just putting AoE after AoE out and just killing you. Then obviously after that, they'll go to weapon skill type at 8 to 16. So you want to switch your mob at 8 to 16. The mobs you want to go for are weapons, bombs, which are snarls in fact, and the big bats. They're all pretty good. Weapons are probably a little bit tougher than the rest, but they're all together, so there's no running about. The bats are probably the weakest, but they're a little bit spread out. And then with the snarls, they're squishy as anything, but the only downside to them is they have a chance to self-destruct, and if they self-destruct and they got a lot of HP, that could be a one-shot if you don't resist. In general, I find you get the most coins in the snarls, and then the bats, because less people camp them versus the weapons, and then the weapons. I mean, to be honest, just, you know, get whatever you can get. After that is the white shells. So from 16 to 0, obviously your bronze beast mobs, the bats, the weapons, the snarls, will change the weapon skills. So you want to move on to your white shell mobs, which will be tigers, dermites, and something else, raptors. Anyway, same deal. Just go over to them at 16 to 0 and just start doing it until it reaches 0, and then go back to your bind mills. And you'll do about 2 circuits before you time out. That's pretty much the procs and the time changes covered. If there's any questions, leave a comment. I'll probably reply to it. Outside that, now I want to move on to what the good jobs are on Dynamis. Right, I've already said Beast is probably the easiest job to get up, but some people already have Dancer leveled up. They already have Blue leveled up. You know, they're still good jobs. Some people have Samurais leveled up and have the ability to, you know, log onto a second account and heal themselves. So again, it's, well, if you don't have anything, go for Beast. It's a great job for Dynamis. It, you know, makes a lot of money. But if you already have like a really good Dancer, a really good Thief, or if you've got a really good Sam and you've got that access to another account, it really helps. The reasons between the best jobs, Beast is the best job because you have a pet to transfer the hate onto. The pets take very little damage, meaning you don't have to heal yourself, and you're focused more on doing damage and staggering, not healing yourself. Dancer's good because it has a lot of evasion. You inertly get the procs. A lot of Dancers sub Thief for the TH, so it's a higher TH job than Beast. The kill speed is probably a little bit lower. I've heard people do pretty well on Dancer sub Thief. And then there's Thief. From what I've heard, the Mandu Thieves, the Relic Thieves, you probably don't have one, but if you want to get a Relic for your Thief, once you get that Mandu, you can go to Dynamis' Thief, and apparently you can beat Beast pretty easily if you're geared right. Actually, the person I know who's better than me at Dynamis, like by a long way, like he goes in there, he goes, I got 300 coins there. I'm like, how the hell did you do that? He's like, oh, just play Dynamis, and he plays Mandu Thief, and he just takes everything. Outside of that, I've seen Samurais do it. Samurais kind of have the disadvantage that they do take a little bit more damage than the other jobs because they haven't got evasion or like a pet to put thing on, so you're going to be putting your TP into healing. But that's why dual boxing helps, because if you've got a red mage on the side to haste you, cure you, you don't have to use any TP for that stuff. You don't need to worry about that. You just do the staggers and you kill really fast because obviously it's an inert DD job. I'm sure you can do the same with Dark. I'm sure you can do the same with Dragoon. Dragoon probably has a little bit more of an advantage because it has the jumps for proccing. But outside of that, obviously, make sure you sub Dancer so you got your steps. Oh, Blue Mage is very good because you could keep your MP up, you could heal yourself instead of wasting the TP on healing, and you could self-skill chain, you could wreck mobs pretty quickly once you staggered. I wouldn't say they're as fast as Beast. I've seen them, they are pretty fast though. I mean, I'm sure you can pull in 150 coins on a good blue, maybe even 200. Outside of that, you know, I've seen Paladins do AoE weapon skills, Puppet Masters do AoE weapon skills. I'm sure you could sub-dancer and with those jobs and pulling coins as well. But in general, you want to, I would say, if you're going to be Dynamis a lot, I would focus on either Beast or Thief. Outside of that, I mean, if you want to just use your jobs and not, you know, don't have that much time to build up another job, then, you know, just do what you want to do. And I think that's basically the basics of Dynamis. I've gone over pretty much as I can think of off the top of my head. If you want any more information, just post a comment and I'll hopefully, I will get back to you. You know, I'll be following my channel I'll be linking it to an email, so an email will shoot in and I'll reply to you pretty quickly. Outside that, a little bit about Beast. There's going to be a little bit, you know, it's about jobs in general, but Beast in general, I'll start off with the basics. You know, you want cat tasting gear for TP, that's a basic. So you want to be hit 25% haste, at least 26 if you want to be, you know, anal about it, but honestly that extra 1% haste doesn't help too much. Once you hit that 25% haste, you want to be focusing on, like for the TP set, stuff that has pet enhancements. So you've got like a bit of pet haste there, so that's like 5%, so your pets can do 5% more damage. And there's another 5% on there, so that's, you know, it's a little bit more than 10%. And then another piece that I have is that, which you can work on while you're doing your Beast in Dynamis, because it's I believe that you could get the journeys from Dynamis Quantum, and I don't know where you get the trousers from, you'll have to look that up yourself. And you can basically get the journeys, get the -1. I know the -1 comes from tab, so it's probably pretty hard, so you probably have to trade in 50 journeys. They're pretty cheap now anyway. Then you do your EXP in Dynamis, and then you get that Enhances Familiar. What that does will add another 10% haste to your pet while it's alive. So it's all about, you know, if you use that, you want to keep your pet alive for as much as you can. Not to mention, this piece is also a good weapon skill piece and a good reward piece. I mean, it's up to you if you want to do it. I wouldn't say it's like game changing, it helps. I use Munchskaters, they have a 20% reward effect. It's really good. If you get them to +2, they get 30%. So that's really good for rewards. Outside of that, I use Ogre Gloves, so that's it really. I use Twilight and stuff because Mind is a mod for a reward. So that's basically TP gear covered. For weapon skill gear, you want to merit Ruinate if you're leveling Beast. Again, like if you whatever job you're using, you want to get the most powerful weapon skill. For Dancer, Exonerator is really good. And the same with for Thief. Unless you have like a Empyrean or Relic kicking about, then obviously you can use that instead. For weapon skill gear, for Beast, you want to stack on as much strength as possible. So for me, I've got like that one, that Mecha Auto is pretty damn strong. I mean, it's cheap, get that, that's really good. Outside of that, just get on as much strength gear as you want. Heflock are pretty easy to get. I mean, you know, I use that, but there are other jobs. Avant Body is pretty damn good. The only other thing I would say is you definitely want to focus on getting a Gorget that relates to that weapon skill. I'm not sure about the dagger weapon skills or anything like that, but I know with the Ruinator, if you have the Gorget and the belt of the element of the weapon skill, you have to look that up on BG as well. I use the Aqua myself, then you're going to get like a good 30% bonus to your Ruinator. It's the biggest bonus out of any piece of gear that you could have. They're the biggest you'll get out of those two. So if you want to get the minimum weapon skill gear, I would get those two, and then get like a set of Avant because they're pretty good for strength. As for TP gear, don't worry too much about having the best, because when you first go in, you could go into a full pearl and pull in 150 coins once you get it down. I mean, and then you'll be making a mill, and then you can use that mill to buy better gear. So it, you know, just get into Dynamis as soon as you can, so you're making money to exit. As for damage, your pet will be like a base set of damage anyway, so even if your skill's a little bit low, you know, you can always, as long as you can land steps consistently, and stagger, your pet will be your base damage, and then you can build up off there. But as I said, my Dynamis setup, I focus purely on damage. Some people focus on pet defense. They'll have pet evasion axe, or pet physical damage minus 10%. I found that if you kill mobs faster, they do less damage to you, because the faster they die, the less damage they can do. It's a pretty simple way of doing things. And not to mention that you get the benefit, you're killing them all faster, so you're making more money. As for what pets you should use, the pet I have at the moment is Falcor. He follows you around. He's a thief type job. The reason he's so good is he has an inert evasion effect, and he has triple attack. So he's a really good tank, he's a really good DD. So basically it's just one of the best mobs. Outside that, some other people use Diffuli. Again, similar to that, has TH1, triple attack, a lot of evasion, but I do believe they get a regen bonus and an evasion bonus, but they do a little bit less damage. So it's you know, trade off a little bit of damage, less damage for a little bit more survivability. There's no issue. Just try them both out, have a bit of fun, you know, learn the jobs. For getting the time extensions, I use sheep. They're basically, it's one of the cheapest job pets that are leveled up. So you just chuck your sheep at a time extension, and occasionally you'll get stuff that links. It'll be more in the time extension video, which I'll do next. If you get any links, you can basically press leave and all the links will be gone after you've killed the time extension. The only mobs that will come back at you are mobs you've performed actions on. By actions, I mean stuff like fight. Fight will always give you hate, so regardless of what you're doing. So if you use fight on something, it's going to come back at you after you press leave. Okay, after that, it's that's basically the pets covered. TP weapon skill, I think that's everything on beasts, to be honest. Oh, pet food, of course. I go in with about 2 stacks of Zeta. They're definitely at the moment the best cost to healing ratio, so you're going to get the most healing for your money for that food. I occasionally bring in a stronger food. Like if you link a lot of mobs and you have a lot of mobs on your pet's going to go down quite fast, so chucking on like the best healing food not only gives like a bigger boost to healing, it also gives a bigger boost to the regen of the food. I'm not sure what the regen effects are, but you know, more basically the higher level it is, the more regen it has. It basically just keeps your pet alive, and the reason I want to keep my pet alive is because I got that familiar effect on with that 10% haste, so it's a more of a souped up pet. If it dies, I'm going to lose that 10% haste, so I do as much as I can to keep it alive. Obviously, if I get like 10 mobs on my pet, I'll just focus on the one that I perform actions, kill it, run away, press leave, and all the mobs shouldn't link onto you. Another good tip is to bring re-raise into Dynamis. Don't forget that. I mean, if you die and you can't get up, that's it, end of your run, and no more money for you. Yep, that's pretty much it for Beast. Thanks for watching to the end. Anyway, guys, if you've got games and tips and stuff from it, thanks for listening. If you want to leave a comment, I mean, it's my first Let's Play. If you want to leave any tips about what I should do or how I should do it, but I understand that today it's been more of just me speaking and running about randomly than it has been about the actual gameplay itself. But I felt it was necessary, you know, just to get those basics down. Use the BG Wiki, you know, bring re-raise, stuff like that. You know, just have a go at Dynamis. I mean, it's free to enter. You need to get the glass in from one of the goblins that exchange coins, like in Devoy or Bidix or something else, or the Castle Oz, whatever, where the Yaguados are. One of those goblins will sell you a hourglass for, I think, 200k or 100k. Also, it might be a really good idea to buy the maps as well from those. They cost a little bit, but you know, they're there for you. They're yours for life once you bought them. It's pretty good. Yeah, so thanks for listening. If you want any other tips or advice, just post a comment. If you've got any advice for me, do better Let's Play videos. I know I'm using like a trial software at the moment, just to see how it goes before I buy the buy the full version. And if I want to keep doing Let's Play videos, I'll keep doing them. The other thing I want is, it'd be good to have people ask questions about the game, and it would be great to have people asking stuff like what other Let's Play videos are going to do. I will be up for doing like leveling Let's Plays if people want that, or Bistia Let's Plays or stuff like that. But the main focus I want to be at the moment, which is basically the stuff I'm doing at the moment, which is endgame. I want to do a Let's Play Dynamis, which is what I'm working on now. The next thing I might do is a Let's Play Neo News Allow. That depends on the people doing it, because it's basically I have to get permission from the people I'm doing it with before I put it up. And then the last one, I can't remember. It would be like the new Limbus. I want to go over that. I mean, that's going to be pretty cool. We're going to be doing it. My link shell's going to be, well, I'm going to be running a Odin version 2 this Sunday. I'm going to record it. I'm not going to put a voiceover on it yet. I'll do a voiceover separately for that. But I'll record it. Maybe record of some of the interactions between our link shell members, because it can be pretty funny at times. Basically, I want to go through the end game. I also want to be like, once I've got all layers down, I want to be there. So when a new expansion comes out, we do try to get our link shell to go out there and do the new stuff. So I want to be like one of the first person putting stuff out, not only in a more descriptive way than you see some of the videos, but to let people know how to do these events. Because you know, when a new event comes out, you're like, how do you do it? You know, and if I've got tips there, tricks, you know, it'll help other link shells, help other people set up shouts, stuff like that. I'll happily do Void Watch Let's Plays if you want. Anyway, request what you want. If people want to need to do like a basic guide to leveling, I'll do that. That's no problem. There's only 2 sections to that anyway. There's 0 to 30, and then the leeching and abyssia. I mean, and then obviously skill ups. But you know, I'll go through that as the time comes. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you keep following and watching away. Thanks again.